Okay, sweet. So welcome to another Team Easy Europe evening training. Quick announcement before I get into the content tonight, and that's this. We are doing something this Thursday night, this coming Thursday, that we've never done before. So what we know is that people are responding very positively to the Sophisticated Side Hustle webinar. We just know that people are getting very excited about it. Team members, customers, potentials, and prospects obviously are looking at the Sophisticated Side Hustle going, okay, there's something different here. I'm seeing this in a whole new light. So the people that are really working hard to get people onto these webinars are having a lot of success in opening people's eyes and helping them to get started with Isagenix in terms of what's possible for them financially with this opportunity. So we're doing something we've never done before, and that's this. So on Thursday night, we're doing two separate Sophisticated Side Hustle webinars. We're doing one for the European market, for the Belgians and the Netherlands. We're doing one for the European market, so that's going to be in euros, and that is going to be at 8 o'clock Central European time, so 8 p.m. Central European time on Thursday. And then we're also doing one essentially right after that at 8:30 GMT, at 8:30 for the UK. So that one will be in British pounds, right? So 8 o'clock and 8:30. Now, for those of you that have people in the United States, we're doing two more webinars that same night. So we're 8 hours behind you, 5 hours on the East Coast, one at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and another one at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So if you have people in the States, they'll know what those time zones are. You won't have to be on those, of course, because it'll be in the middle of the night, but it's an opportunity for you to plug anybody that you are. It's not confusing. It's really simple, right? Anybody that you're plugging into in the United States, you can have them over there, right? So 8 o'clock, 4 different times. For us, it's all on us. All you got to worry about is getting people on at the times that make sense for them to get on. Now, here's what we're gonna ask you for, obviously, is we're gonna ask you to work as hard as you can to get as many people on. Yeah, it's an opportunity meeting. It's a Sophisticated Side Hustle, right, webinar that we've been doing. So 8:30 UK time, 8 o'clock Central European time. Those are the two big ones to focus on, obviously, for Europe. We're working on flyers or posters right now that we'll get up into the group so you can have absolute clarity. But again, this is a great opportunity to get people plugged in to really see what's possible in their lives with Isagenix, to really get why this business model makes so much sense, especially in today's economy. So we're changing the conversation. We feel like we're changing the game with this. Eden and I we're crazy. We're going to do 4 of these in one day. We're going to do 4 of them in one day to support all the major time zones that we currently have our teams in. So that's what we're doing. We hope you guys are excited about it. We hope you'll build like crazy for it. We're doing the heavy lifting. You do your part. We're going to do our part. And that's the whole thing about this partnership. So with that in mind, we're going to get back to the basics right now on tonight's call. We're going to get back to something so basic that I think that it's so simple that oftentimes we forget that we're already good at this. We forget that we're already good at this, and we get so caught up and so excited about wanting to share Isagenix with people that we forget this fundamental thing, this fundamental principle that we're already so good at naturally, that you've been doing your entire life. And you get into network marketing, and for whatever reason, we just forget about it, or we get weird about it, or we don't trust ourselves with it. Can anyone tell me what it is that I might be talking about? What's something that you've learned how to do at a very young age that's so important when it comes to network marketing? Donna got it, right? Connecting with people. And oftentimes what happens is we go out into the marketplace, whether it's online or otherwise, and we forget just some basic principles of starting a conversation with somebody, of connecting with somebody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some very basic, that's right, we vomit Isagenix all over them. We have disgustingly smelly commission breath, right? Like we think that they're the worst person in the world if they don't join our team right away or get on the products right away. We completely disregard people if they tell us no the first time, and we just make this judgment about them that they're not who I'm looking for, or it's not for them. And we we accept their quote unquote no's as a no forever because we're not really taking the time to connect and listen to where they are in their lives so we can more appropriately overcome some of their objections. So tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some very, very simple connecting techniques that I want you to start to focus on. We can ask questions. You can ask questions as we go. This is an open conversation. But one of the reasons that I've been successful in my career, and I'm very aware of this, is because I've learned how to effectively connect with anyone, anywhere, anytime. And I pay attention. And that's one of the things. So the first key to connecting, if you're taking notes, is you have to genuinely want to connect with someone. Who'd have thought? Weird principle. You have to genuinely want to connect with someone. You have to genuinely care to get to know somebody. You have to genuinely want to find out how you can provide value in that person's life, how you can be of service to that person's life, having nothing to do with Isagenix. So that's the first thing. The very first thing is that you actually have to want to connect with somebody. You absolutely have to want to meet somebody. You have to genuinely want to know what's going on in their lives and how you can provide value to them and be of service to them, having nothing to do whatsoever with Isagenix. So that's the first part. The next part is carrying an attitude of being genuinely curious about people, really wanting to find out about them. Like really wanting to find out. Are you genuinely curious about people? Now, some of you might struggle with this. That's okay. Some of you right now want so badly to make your Isagenix business work that you're saying anything that you want to say. You're just making stuff up as you go, hoping that someone will get started so you can earn a bonus. And I promise you that if that's your approach to doing this business, you're going to struggle for a very long time. And you will always get a disproportionate amount of no's to the number of yeses that you get. Are we always going to get a higher rate of quote unquote no's to yeses? Of course, always. But if you don't really focus on connecting with people, you will get a disproportionate amount of no's. If you focus on connecting with people, a lot of those quote unquote no's will soon or over time become yeses. Because type in the chat box, how many of you have seen the stories? Because most of the people on this call, everyone on this call has been in Isagenix less than 2 years, right? Some of you have been less than 2 months. But how many of you have already seen posts by myself, by Eden, welcoming new people to the team saying, I first spoke with this person 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. How many of you have seen those types of things in other groups where, oh my God, it took 5 years, 6 years, 10 years before they joined, right? And you hear that, and then you hear the comment, timing is everything, right? Timing's everything. Well, the reason that those people have said yes, is because at the very beginning, from the day we met them, our focus was on connecting with them and staying connected with them in a way that wasn't judgmental, wasn't critical, or wasn't accusational, quite frankly, of the reasons that they didn't join us in the moment. So connecting is a mindset. Like everything you hear us talking about, connecting is a mindset. Now, are there some techniques to connecting? Yes. Am I going to teach you those here in a moment? Yes. But what's so important to understand is that connecting is a mindset, is an energy. People can feel your energy whether you believe it or not. If you're in a bad mood and then you just pretend to put on a smiling face when you go to talk with someone, guess what? They're not joining you. If in your mind you're creating stories about what they're going to think about you or what they're going to think about the opportunity, guess what? They're not joining you. If you're making decisions about whether or not they have the money, need the products, want the products, don't have the money, don't need the money, if you're making any kind of decisions like that, guess what? They're not going to join you. They're not going to join you. And oftentimes, and part of the reason I'm saying here's what not to do is because oftentimes we get on here, we do trainings, you hear other people train, they say, here's what you got to do, here's what you got to do. But until you bring an awareness to the things that you shouldn't be doing, it's almost impossible to correct into the things that you should be doing. Right? So the first thing is bringing awareness to things that you should not be doing. Okay? And so often I know that we do those things. And hear my language, I'm saying we because I've done those things in the past. But when I got really grounded on wanting to serve people, wanting to learn about people, becoming genuinely curious about people, carrying an energy where it was about them and not about me, that's when my entire life began to change completely. But if you have personal issues, if you have your own baggage that you're bringing into the conversation, and that's all you can think about selfishly, then guess what? People are not going to join you. You can't hide behind Facebook and think they're not going to feel my energy. They don't know what's going on behind closed doors. They don't know what I'm saying. They don't hear me moaning. Of course they do. They all do. Everyone hears you moaning. Everyone hears you complaining. Everyone hears you judging. Everyone hears you criticizing. It's all energy. So until you're willing to clean that up and to clean up your attitude and change your state before connecting with someone, you're going to continue to struggle. You're going to continue to struggle. So one of the things that I do is if I'm in a bad mood, if I've got stuff going on in my personal life, whatever it is, I find a way to shift my energy. I might turn on some music. I might get in a quick workout. I might make a list of all the things I'm grateful for. I might make a list of all the things that Isagenix has done for my life. And I'll change my energetic state and I'll change my frequency before having a conversation. And then I really make it about that person. And one of the first questions I always ask myself before connecting with anyone is a very simple question. How can I serve this person? That's my thought process right away. How can I serve this person? How can I serve this person? And when I get grounded into that, when I get grounded into a space of how can I serve this person, all of my questions now become in alignment with what I talked about before, and that was having a genuine desire to get to want to know somebody. A lot of people struggle with consistency. Right? Consistent posting on Facebook, consistent reaching out to people, consistently showing up on these calls, whatever it is. A lot of people struggle with consistency. Well, here's how to overcome consistency challenges in any area, especially when it comes to connecting. When you care, you never lack consistency. When you care, you never lack consistency. If you really care about getting into someone's world and putting yourself into someone else's shoes, based on where they might be in their lives, if you really care about those things, if you really care about making a difference, then guess what? You'll always be consistent. It's when we don't care that we're inconsistent. It's when we don't care that we are inconsistent. When we put our own selfish needs, our own selfish anxieties, our own selfish thoughts, our own crap ahead of other people, that's when we become inconsistent. How many of you, just type in the chat box, know this to be true? You know that when you're in your head, when you're procrastinating, when you're being lazy, when you're choosing into bad habits, you know that ultimately that's what leads to your inconsistencies, right? It's all those things. But if I really stand in a space of caring so deeply about how I can be of service to people every single day, guess what I'm going to do every day? I'm going to be consistent because I care. I care. And it's not just caring about the prospects. It's not just caring about my customers, not just caring about you guys. It's also caring about my responsibilities to myself and to my family and to Eden and to this community. It's when I focus on caring that I remain consistent. Okay, so a couple of tips for connecting. The simplest connecting tip is to use something called FORM. FORM. So what FORM is an acronym, F-O-R-M. And what F stands for is very simple. It's either family or from. Hey, where are you from? Hey, I came across your profile on Facebook. You look awesome, right? I noticed it says you live in Birmingham. Are you from there originally? I noticed that it says you live in Rotterdam. Are you from there originally? Hey, came across your page. Says you live here in Ghent, just like me. Are you from Ghent originally? Where are you from? Or, hey, saw a great pic of you. Are those your kids? How many do you have? Family. So either your family or where are you from? F. O is occupation or organization. Very simple question. We all ask this all the time. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Or where do you go to, maybe you're involved in a, organization, right? So what do you do for a living? Or what communities are you involved in? If you're a religious person, what church do you belong to, right? What clubs, right? Organization or occupation. O. R is for recreation. This one's simple. What do you do for fun? what do you like to do for fun? What do you like to do for fun? And then M is for motivation. What inspires you? What are you passionate about? Why do you work so hard? You have a big vision for your life. If you could do anything, what would it be? Right? So again, just to repeat, F is for family or from. O is for occupation or organization. R is for recreation. M is for motivation. Now, the key to really connecting with somebody in that process when you're asking these questions, I'll come to your question here in a moment, Michelle. So how do you lead the questions on without sounding like you're interrogating them? Perfect segue, perfect question. So here's how this looks, right? So it's conversational. So I'm going to use Michelle because she asked the question, okay? I might come across Michelle's page and connect with Michelle and say, hey, I noticed that you live here in Manchester. Are you from here originally, right? She's going to write back and say, no, actually, I just moved here. Oh, where did you move from? Oh, I moved here from CM. No way. One time I stayed at CM Hall. Do you know where CM Hall is? Okay. See what I did? So I'm just relating back an experience that I've had that you can relate to in regards to that question, right? Or I might say, it's just totally relatable. Okay, great. Oh, what do you do for work? Michelle might say, I'm a physio. No way. I spent years in physio because of injuries. Right? Physios were a big part of my life growing up because I had a lot of injuries as an athlete, right? What do you like to do for fun? I like to read. No way. I love reading. What are some of your favorite books? See what I'm doing? So I'm taking whatever the answer is to the question and I'm mirroring back some part of my experience that she then can relate to. And as I do that, the wall begins to come down. And it never will feel like an interrogation when the energy that I have is when I'm genuinely wanting to find out about you. That's the difference. If I'm super focused on finding out the answers to these questions as though it's some sort of a game, right? Or as though like I have to do this in order to be successful in my business, then you're going to be carrying the energy of an agenda. And we don't want to be agenda driven at all. We want to be intentional, right? And if they're not open to sharing, right, and answering some of these questions, then exactly, they're probably not who you're looking for, because when you go back to the types of people you want to work with, red apples, green apples, things like that, or when we talk about the character traits that we're looking for, right, I want to be in a conversation with people that are open-minded. Like, remember that ultimately what's cool about network marketing is you get to pick the people for the most part that you want to partner with. So if someone's a PITA, right, if someone's a pain in the ass when it comes to connecting with them up front, why would you want to drag this person into your business if they're not demonstrating the types of people that you want to work with? Here's how I look at it. If I don't find that I'd want to hang out with you on the weekends, if I don't find that I want to hang out with you on the weekend, if I don't find that you're somebody who I'd want to, go out to dinner with and just hang out with, having nothing to do with business, then I'm probably not going to spend too much time trying to recruit you as a business partner of mine. Because when you bring in a business partner or you bring in a customer, this is someone that you're spending quite a bit of time with. So if they're not conversational, if they're not, if they're not vibing with you, then all good. And guess what? Here's the wake-up call that all you get to hear. Sometimes it's about you. Sometimes they just don't vibe with you because of you. And guess what? That's okay. What you do and what you have is not for everyone. What you've got to figure out, what you've got to identify is, who is this for? What's in it for them? Who is this for? What's in it for them? That's all you're looking for. And if you think that the answer is everyone has to have Isagenix, guess what? You're wrong. They don't. The more narrowed in you can get to who you're looking for, the more narrowed in you can get to who you want to communicate this vision with, the more easy connecting becomes. Why? How many of you would agree that it's easier to connect with somebody that has similar interests than someone that has dissimilar interests, right? How many of you would agree? How many of you have ever been to a party and you go to the party and there is no one in that party that's anything like you? No one. Everyone's dressed differently. The music that they listen to is completely different than anything you would listen to. They're all in their little cliques. They're all huddled together. And you sit there and you're like, this is brutal. I don't feel like I belong here. This isn't my community. This isn't my tribe. It's like pulling teeth. So you try and go and be a nice person and start a conversation, but ultimately, they're not your jam. You're not their jam. No big deal, no hard feelings. Connecting becomes simple when you're really clear on who you're looking to connect with. Because guess what? The people that you're looking to connect with, as long as you show up with integrity and as long as you show up in authenticity and as long as you show up in a true desire to want to connect with people, guess what? The people who you're looking for, they're looking for you. I'm going to say it again. The people who you're looking for, they're looking for you. The people you're looking for, they're looking for you. So Jessica asks, when is the best time to mention Isagenix? Fairly quickly. It doesn't have to take a long time. Like, you can connect with somebody very quickly. That whole form thing that I just did with Michelle, 90 seconds done. 90 seconds done. Now, I might wait a day or two and say, hey, Michelle, you know what? I can't help but think we might have some synergy in business together. I can't help but think you'd be amazing at what I do. Would you be open to hearing more about it? I probably won't wait more than a couple of days to do that. Of course not. Of course not. But if you're just meeting someone, don't be scared to kind of just get to know them a little bit. Ask a lot of questions. Find out about it, right? And if they're not open, they're not open. But they'll keep watching. But as long as you sincerely want to connect, and guess what? Here's the other part of it. Those same people who aren't open today very well could be open tomorrow. And you just lay little touches on them here and there. You just lay little touches on them here and there, and you stay connected here and there. So oftentimes I see people posting things in our groups, and I said yesterday, there was a thread saying something about like, I've collected so many no's this week, and I posted, I said, show me the screenshots. Nobody did. Nobody did. I'm waiting. Show me the screenshots. What you're thinking is a no, what you're taking as a no might be someone saying, no, because you haven't taken the time to connect with me. No, because you're not listening. No, because you don't really care about what I want. No, because write this down. Everyone's favorite radio station is WIIFM. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? Why should I listen to you? Why should I hear more about your opportunity? Why should I? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? And I think we get really caught up in this idea of, oh, I got to get 5 looks today. I got to make 20 connections today, blah, 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 blah. That we forget that because you're doing it with an agenda and not doing it from a place of service, people can feel that. So of course they're ignoring you. Of course they're ghosting on you. Of course they're saying no to you. But if you set out with the intention before you go to do your 5 or 10 or 20 or even 3 a day with the intention of who can I serve today? Who's it for? What's in it for them? Who's it for? What's in it for them? Guess what? Your response rate is going to be a lot higher. No one ever says no to me. Ever. Ever. I've never had anyone say no to me. Never. No one says no. They might say, not right now. I don't know if the timing's right. But guess what? They never say no. They never say no. Ever. No one says no to me. Nobody. No one says no. Ever. Why? Because I genuinely care. Because I want to connect with them. Because I believe in what we have. And I also carry the belief and the understanding that when they say, quote unquote, no, they're not saying no to me. That's why I can confidently say to you, no one ever says no to me. They say no to themselves. They say no to this being the time for them. They say no to their own transformation. They say no to making more money. They say no to less stress. They say no to peace of mind in their life. That's what they're saying no to. They're not saying no to you. But how do we find that out? We find that out by uncovering where they're at in their lives, constantly and consistently asking those questions. That's why the discovery process is so important. That's why it's so important to look at the templates, how they're designed, and see that they're really designed to uncover some of these things for them and to have a conversation so we can say, oh, got it. You don't walk into a doctor's office and the doctor looks at you and you want to go to the doctor because you have a sore throat. The doctor looks at you and says, oh, yeah, you have a knee problem. I'm sorry. Yeah, you have a knee problem. You need this knee brace. No, I have a sore throat. No, you have a knee problem. See, one of the things that we do, because we're not focused on connecting, is we get really, 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 notice I hear me saying we. I hope you hear me saying we, because I did this too, right? I've learned through experience, is to stop telling the world what you have and start finding out what the world needs. Stop telling people what you have. We have this, we have that, we have a comp plan, we have weight loss, we have shakes, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about any of that stuff. How could they? How could they possibly care that our comp plan is so amazing? How could they possibly care if leverage makes sense, that leverage just makes sense? How could they possibly care that our nutrition is convenient with the best ingredients in the world? How could they possibly care? How could they possibly care if you haven't spent the time to identify the part of their life that needs the solution that you can offer? That's what connecting is about. Connecting is about identifying the pain point that someone has in their life, finding out what the need is, and then offering them Isagenix as a solution to that need. So we've got about 3 minutes left until the call is coming to its natural conclusion. Are there any questions I can answer for you about this topic? Now, on the training site, which I would invite a lot of you to spend more time on, in the training section, there's a video called Real World Connecting or something like that. It's in the advanced series, and we give a bunch of examples of how to connect and provide value in people's lives and just to build relationships like that. Any questions I can answer? Got 2 minutes left, and then we're gonna hop off. All right, cool. So that means if there are no questions, that means I smashed it and you guys got it and you're gonna go do it, or it means it went completely over your head and I suck as a trainer. One way or another, I'm totally unattached. I hope I did a good enough job for you guys tonight. So with that being said, I'm gonna post in the group like I always do. What did you learn? Please take 2 minutes, not even, please take 30 seconds and comment on that post. Not for my sake, for your sake and for your team members' sake. Care enough about other people seeing what you learned that maybe they missed. Care enough to provide value to the rest of the community. Care enough to take one moment of your night to write a little comment about what you took away. Care enough, because caring will always keep you consistent. Sophisticated Side Hustle webinar, 2 opportunities for Europe and the UK on Thursday night. Posters should be going up at some point, either this evening or in the morning. Start inviting with a genuine desire to serve more people. Have a good evening, everybody. We love you.